Alright, I'm recording now. Hi.
Hello.
Who the hell are you? No, you're not gonna answer that question. No, you're not gonna say who you are?
Salem.
Okay. Oh, yeah, this is my buddy Salem. We've heaved a gunpoint. Me record, Salem.
Yes, speak library.
Bye.
I don't know.
You people might remember him before because of the after school special. This is more or less just kind of a sequel to that. Well, same continuity.
Isn't that lovely?
So, in other words, go listen first. That will be very good for you.
It's part of a...
Point is written by your antagonist. He is one of the most amazing authors ever. And I highly recommend going and check him out, because he wrote a lot of funny stuff. Anyways, before we begin, warning/disclaimer. The following story contains depictions of sexual acts between two animated minors of differing biological classification.
No shit.
If this offends you, don't panic. I can assure you that I honestly don't care.
If it offends you, go whine about it on Tumblr.
Basically, edit 2012/8/8. There's alliteration. Lots of alliteration. Deal with it. After school special, you're supposed to be quiet in the library by your antagonist. Again, he's fucking amazing. Go check him out right now. Book isn't the only thing you gotta check out.
Enough of the plugs.
Listen, I'm just reading the stories that shows up currently.
Which is full of shameless plugs.
No, it's just literally just how it is. And it's not James, he's the one who wrote the bloody story.
Well, that too. Shameless self-promotion. Click his ads.
Yeah, do that. Make my money, people.
Click my ads.
My ads. Anyway, let's get reading.
Yes.
Spike, wake up! Wake up! Twilight violently shook the groggy dragon from his dreamscape, incurring an agitated hiss from the reluctant reptile. Wow, there is a lot of fucking alliteration. The library is open for 5 minutes. Why are you still asleep? Through grit teeth and clenched eyes, the dazed dragon mumbled out a response to his ward's retorted question. Because the sun is evil. Spike flailed his arms around lazily in front of his face in an attempt to shield his vision from the seemingly omnipresent rays of the sun. You know, I gotta say, that seems like what I do.
It's what everyone does.
Well, most people. Twilight, cast a spell and turn off the sun. I need all the sleep I can get so I can read through all the Saturday morning comics. Twilight rolled her eyes and began slapping Spike lightly across the face with a nearby issue of The Invisible Mare that Spike had fallen asleep reading.
Somehow blinds don't exist?
Not in the library, bitch! I've told you over and over again that I have a conference to attend in Canterlot this weekend and that you would be in charge of the library while I was gone. But just look at this place. It's a mess! Twilight gestured to the alleged clutter that plagued the upper level of our beloved emporium. Now, the average observer look upon the room and see only a few books lying about, open and unattended on immaculately polished tables. The more astute onlooker would have been able to discern a few measly crumbs left behind from Spike's violation of Twilight's "no eating upstairs" rule. To the nitpicking, over-analyzing eyes of an obsessive-compulsive such as Twilight Sparkle, however, the room was filled to the brim with hellfire and overturned bookcases that stood as testaments to the fact that she had allowed absolute anarchy to go unchecked in her personal bastion.
These books are blasphemous. We must burn them.
Yo against Princess Sambat the Awesome. Spike glanced lazily about the vicinity and shrugged after giving the room a half-conscious assessment. He simply didn't possess the same level of neuroticism necessary to see the atrocities that had put his unicorn counterpart on edge. With a singular mind-clearing yawn and backstretch combination, Spike managed to force himself into a higher state of awareness, but at the cost of drowning a Twilight as she continued on some inane rant that he couldn't be bothered to comprehend in his half-conscious state. Spike, are you even listening to me? Twilight released her magical grip on Spike and sent the tiny dragon hurtling towards the ground with a heavy thump. Rubbing his head, Spike slowly picked himself from the ground and absent-mindedly replied to Twilight's inquiry. Yeah, I heard you. Spike waved Twilight's concerned away with a claw. Something about library stuff. Realizing that her shorthand lecture was being wasted on its intended recipient, Twilight rolled her eyes and shook her head before huffing a sigh at the drowsy dragon. Look, I have to finish packing, and it's going to take at least 3 hours, so just take this list of errands, Twilight saw one flared with magenta magic, and a second later, a piece of parchment materialized in the air next to Spike's head, and please get them done before I have to leave him. Twilight glanced at a nearby clock. 3 hours, 35 minutes, and 27 seconds. I should finish with just enough time to browse the twice-translated, famously thick treatise describing Trottingham's terrible time travel chapter home too.
Sheesh, what a nerd!
Would you like me to repeat that?
Go ahead.
The twice-translated, famously thick treatise transcribing Trottingham's terrible time travel travesties tome 2. If that's not an alliteration, then I'm fucking Mr. Torg.
Your profile picture is.
Shut up, I don't know that. Spike was willing to overlook the fact that Twilight had given him the time to the second and the ludicrous title of the book, as he had discovered a flaw in studious librarians of methodology. Why can't I fucking speak right now?
Because it's almost 11:45.
True. Methodology. Wait a second, Twilight. If you're going to be packing for 3 hours and I'm going to be out, then who's going to maintain the library? Oh, I didn't have to stretch myself too far to find a couple of eager substitute librarians. Oh no, you didn't. Not them. Twilight grinned mischievously at Spike, and cuffed a hoof to her ear as she awaited the inevitable harmony of horror from the lower floor of the library. Right now I would normally yell, but again, it's almost midnight, so, no. Cutie Crusaders, substitute librarians! Yay! I cannot be the Cutie Crusaders, and if anybody complains about that, then you shut the hell up. Spike felt a violent shiver course through his body as the shout resonated through the tree that he called home. Twilight, why? As if we shelved an reorganized library. Why couldn't you have gotten Twist or Diamond Tiara? Why them?
Why? Because it is not known to them that they are not getting paid.
True. They aren't getting paid.
They should be.
Dude, they don't care. What would they spend it on? Drugs?
They would buy the cutie
Did you get this money with crime?
No. I got it with...
Twilight smirked at Spike's panic state. It more than made up for the fact that he had zoned her out during the lecture. They said yes, and you weren't awake. They may not be the neatest or most organized bunch, but then again, cleaning up after them isn't my issue this weekend. And the longer they're in charge, well, you figure it out. I get it. Better get started. Dragon grumbled under his breath as he trudged his way down the stairs. Once Spike reached the bottom of the stairs, he breathed a small sigh of pride as he took in the busy atmosphere of the business half of the library. Scores of scholars scrutinizingly skimmed scriptures and scrolls, and the usual Saturday morning audience had gathered to peruse the newest issues of comic books, such as Spider-Mare, Captain Equestria, as well as the graphic novel adaptations of Ne'er-Do-Well and Daring Do.
And yet, there's still no Wi-Fi.
This is Equestria, bitch.
They should at least have Wi-Fi. I'm pretty sure they shouldn't be living and be that primitive when it comes to technology.
No. Every issue of the latter title at the moment was being hoarded by Rainbow Dash, who had chosen to wear the Daring Do costume Rarity had crafted for her, and as entertaining a sight it was to see a grown man in a costume keep away from a group of irate children.
Bitch, does this look like a cosplay convention?
Yes. Spike was searching for a far greater disturbance to the piece, and he didn't have to look far to find it. No more than a spit's distance from the dragon spotted Twilight's alleged substitute librarians. Sweetie Belle, what in tarnation are you doing? I just reorganizing the books like Miss Twilight told me to. Sweetie Belle, I don't think Twilight told you to make a fortress out of encyclopedias. Now take that dang thing down and help me get through the Seer catalog. From the depths of the filly-sized forts, two emerald green eyes narrowed suggestively at Apple Bloom. You're just jealous of the fort, Sweetie Belle, declared the cotton candy maned filly. Now why in tarnation would I be jealous of, or for that matter, want to go inside? Good morning, Sweetie Belle. Good morning, Apple Bloom. Spike greeted the fillies with a friendly wave and a smile. Almost immediately after Spike's greeting, Apple Bloom's cream yellow face flared a fierce shade of red, and faster than the dragon could perceive, Apple Bloom dashed inside the tiny fortress, kicked out its current occupant, and sealed the entrance with the surplus encyclopedias laying about. Okay, that was weird. Spike looked to Sweetie Belle for some explanation regarding Apple Bloom's estranging behavior. Sweetie Belle only shrugged in response. Beats me. She's been acting like that all morning. Hey, wait a minute. I see two of you. Where's the third, and what's she destroying? Spike whipped his head around the library searching for the third member of the apocalyptic trifecta. Oh, Scooter looked naked this morning. Said something about hunting for a shutterbug. You know what shutterbug looks like, Spike? Spike breathed a sigh of relief. For the record, Shutterbug involves another story in this series that I may or may not get to eventually.
I'm guessing that Shutterbug is featherweight.
Don't fucking spoil it!
Mr. White!
I don't want me Mr. Pink. It don't matter. None of this matters.
Bitch!
Anyways, back to the story. Spike breathed a sigh of relief. The destructive potential of the Cutie Bar Crusaders had been cut by a third. But even still, a fraction of Armageddon was more than enough to destroy the order and sanctuary. Can't say that I do, and I can't say that I care. Now look here, I'm gonna be out for a couple hours, so please, do me a favor and keep the destruction to a minimum. Sheesh, you could have a little more faith in us, Spike, Speedy Bell pouted. Right, well let's see if the library is still standing by the time I get back. Spike chuckled to himself as he exited the venue. Behind him, Sweetie Belle stuck in her tongue and blew a raspberry at him, before turning her attention back to Applebloom. Applebloom, you can come out now. Sweetie Belle cooed to the fortress. She heard some shuffling from within the structure and waited patiently as one of the books slid out of place, revealing a pair of nervous brown eyes. Is Spike gone? Sweetie Belle nodded in response, and a moment later, while the books crumbled off, and Applebloom trotted forth skittishly from the den of books. Dang it, I did it again! Did what again? Sweetie Belle asked. Applebloom scuffed to the ground anxiously and averted her gaze from Sweetie Belle's. She hadn't told any pony else about her feelings for Spike, out of fear that she would be ridiculed by our peers, but then again Sweetie Belle was one of her best friends. After a moment of deliberation and awkward silence, Applebloom looked her friend in the eye and sighed, deciding she would spill the beans right then and there.
Curses! Friend-zoned again!
Listen, don't tell me about getting friend-zoned. I've been friend-zoned so many goddamn times, that's where I live.
I bet Applebloom has a fedora at her house that she hides in the basement.
In case I ever get friend-zoned, I have this fedora.
No, it's a trilby. Even worse.
People don't know the difference between those, though. If you don't know the difference, go look it up. They look very similar, but they're different.
Yes.
Anyways, back to the story. Alright, I'll tell you, but you have to promise that you won't laugh. I promise. Pinkie Pie promise. Sweetie Belle rolled her eyes and began chanting at the ludicrous limerick as she went through the motions of the Pinkie Pie promise. Cross my heart, hope to fly, stick a kick in my out! Sweetie Belle had gone full force in the last part of the chant and poked herself in the eye. Are you gonna tell me now? Sweetie Belle asked, rubbing her sore eye. Alright. Applebloom beckoned Sweetie Belle closer with a wave of her hoof and divulged a secret in a hushed whisper. I'm in love with Spike, but I don't know how to tell him. There, I said, now go ahead and laugh. Applebloom clenched her eyes and slumped to the ground, almost certain that Sweetie Belle would burst out in laughter and tears. That's... wow. You really have no faith in your friend?
No. I thought it would be more like, bitch, you cannot steal my man!
This is in the continuity of the after school special, so Sweetie Belle's with Pipsqueak.
Of course.
How do you forget this motherfucker?
I just do.
Tisk tisk. Much to the Earth-Philly's surprise, Sweetie Belle placed a reassuring hoof around Applebloom's neck. Applebloom. I'm not going to laugh. I think it's great that you finally found your special some dragon thing after all this time. You do? Well, I mean, sure, he's a bit grumpy and a little rough around the edges, but aside from that, Spike's a great guy. Or dragon guy? Whatever, I think you should confess to him. So Applebloom's face resumed its earlier beet red shading as the filly seized a book from the ground and held it in front of her face to hide her embarrassment. I can't do it. I can't do that. What if he turns me down? I'll be devastated. Just break out the money. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Show him your genitals.
Yeah! Show me your genitals. Your genitals. What?
Show me your genitals. Genitalia.
Ha!
Yeah, just do that. Just sing that song to him. It'll work. I promise. It won't work. Sweetie Belle took Applebloom and drew her closer. That's better than asking him at all, right? What if he says yes? Then you would have a very special sun dragon to call your own. That is very good advice, by the way.
Just twerk in front of his face.
That's not good advice, but just for people out there who have problems with this, just Go out and try. But don't be like me. Just don't be a me.
Don't be Sean.
Bible thump. I'm gonna go cry in my closet now. Those of you who don't get that joke, I've been rejected 15 plus times. So don't be me.
But
be somebody who gets girls, or boys, or whatever you respectively enjoy.
But you did make a girl hit the big O 15 times.
I'm gonna pretend that was never in here. I'm gonna cut that out, damn it.
First jump cut of your YouTube career ever.
This is the story I've put the most effort into. I actually cut something out. Anyways, back to the story. But doesn't he like your sister? I can't compete against Rarity. It was silly for me to even bring it up. Again, don't let things like that discourage you. Just try, damn it. Even if it doesn't work, try again. If you're not persistent, then shit won't happen. You never know what might happen if you try. Sweetbell glowered indignantly at her friend's lack of confidence. Look, do you like Spike or not? Well, of course I do, but nothing! Sweetbell stopped her hoof from the ground at a driver point home, garnering the attention of the smiling library. If you really truly like him, then you shouldn't let anything stand in the way of your true feelings, especially not my sister. Well, apparently a bitch, cause, treats Spike like shit. It's not cool, brah. Not cool. Apple Bloom pondered her friend's words for a moment and lowered the book from her face with a reluctant puff. I guess you're right, Sweetie Belle, but how do I, tell him? The glare on the unicorn's filly's face softened at Apple Bloom's. Oh, that's easy. Just do what they do in Rarity's romance novels. I am very afraid what they do in those.
Flash him?
Maybe we'll find out. Apple Bloom raised an eyebrow at Sweetie Belle's statement and waited eagerly for the filly's continuation. You just follow them around and wait until the time's right, and that's when you confess. That sounds like stalking.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
And I have no privacy. Whoa.
Damn you, NSA.
Yep. Apple Bloom shot an uncertain look at Sweetie Belle, silently questioning her friend's sanity, as well as Rarity's taste in literature. Both of those are very good things to question. You're joking, right? Why would I give you bad advice? Now go out there and follow him before he gets too far away. What about the library? You think you can handle it on your own? Jeez, you and Spike are one and the same, you know that? I mean, would it kill you to have a little faith in me? Sorry, Sweet. Don't be sorry. Be on your way and give it your best shot. Sweetie seized Apple Bloom by the flank. That flank. And began to push the farm filly to the exit. Alright, thanks, Sweetie Belle. I promise I won't let you down. Good, now just go for it. Sweetie Belle shouted as she shoved Apple Bloom out of the door and into the brisk Saturday morning air. Heaving a heavy sigh of relief, Sweetie Belle turned her attention to the more pressing matters at hand. There were books to be checked in, checked out, and catalogued, shelves to be restocked or reorganized, fines to finagle from frequently late customers, and dusting to be done. The filly looked upon her impending workload and debated which task to complete first. A moment later, she heard the sound of a shelf housing several unforgivingly thick reference books to collapse to the ground. And in that instant, she knew that her first priority as librarian would be to establish the law of Sweetie Belle from the safety of her encyclopedic fort, no less. Yeah.
On this episode of Library Cops.
We saw what you were doing there. Appears you were eating while reading that book. That can get them stained. Please, officer, I wasn't doing that. We wouldn't have to ask you to come fuss.
It also seems I have some overdue books.
That's not good for you.
You owe us $1.
Library Cops. Every Thursday at night. Spike casually strolled down the busy Ponyville with his reliable old red wagon and claw. Let's see, what's first on the list? Spike perused the list and was relieved to find that Twilight had only given him a small handful of tasks to complete. Let's see here, pick up 20 quills, 20 parchments, and a bushel of apples, and that's it? Twilight's being merciful today, Spike mused. I would like to point out that a bushel of apples is an insane amount of apples.
Which means Spike's bad at math.
No, that's literally what was written on the list. That's basically it's like the equivalent of 9 apple pies. So it's a lot of apples. Just want to throw that out there. Well, from my research at least. Just saying. A moment later, an eerie shiver ran down the dragon's spine, evoking a higher state of awareness within the reptile's mind.
Hello?
He couldn't help but feel as though someone was watching him intently from behind.
Is it me you're looking for?
Shut the fuck up. It wasn't the first time he'd felt this sensation either. For the last 3 weeks, whenever he would cover for Twilight in the library or run errands for her, he could have sworn that he felt a piercing gaze on it, regardless of where he went. Spike whipped around quickly and began scanning every sector of the busy street behind himself in hopes that he'd catch a glimpse of the source. But much to his chagrin, there was only the hustle and bustle of ponies going about their daily lives. Shrugging the feeling, Spike resumed his trek to the stationery store, occasionally glancing behind himself as he went. Meanwhile, from a nearby rooftop, a certain pink-bowed filly heaved an infatuated sigh as she watched the object of her affections waddle uncertainly through the streets. My question is, how the hell did she get the hell up there? That's kind of cool. Yeah. While Appleton wanted nothing more than to rush down to the ground level and confess, for the time being, she would have to settle on gazing at him from a distance as she'd been doing for the past 3 weeks. That's creepy. Maybe it's just me, but don't do that. That's kind of stalkerish. Just me? You with me on this one, Salem?
Yes.
Any advice for the good ladies and gentlemen out there?
Restraining orders are not going to work for shit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know. At least until the perfect opportunity presented itself. As Spike moved further and further through the market, Appleton kept pace by leaping stealthily from rooftop to rooftop, never averting her amorous gaze. It wasn't too long before Spike arrived at and disappeared inside of his first destination. Plethora Plenty's plaza of parchments, pens, and perusables. The amount of goddamn alliterations in this is awesome. Your antagonists. Hear this? These alliterations, they're fucking amazing.
The amount of alliterations in this are awesome. That is also an alliteration.
Fuck. What did you do, man? Even go crazy.
This is why you don't fuck a random person in the ass!
I'm not fucking left one. Appleton took this opportunity to dismount the rooftop. As soon as she hit the ground, ouch, the filly galloped as fast as she could for cover in the bosom of a nearby bush, where she stumbled across an unexpected orange-coated bedfellow. What the fuck? Okay. Scootaloo. Bloom, what are you doing here? I can ask you the same question, so I will. What are you doing here instead of looking for that thing you blew me and Sweetie Belle off for? What? Hey, I asked you first, Scootaloo argued. Did not, Bloom rebutted. Did too. Did not. Oh, forget it. We'll be at this all day. Scootaloo ceded, knowing that back and forth with Appleton ran the risk of going on for hours at a time. See that bush over there? Scootaloo pointed at some foliage adjacent from her position on the street. Appleton nodded in response. Well, Featherweight's been in there all morning, and I'm just waiting on him to come out so I can... Scootaloo's face began to flush an intense shade of red. Anyway, I told you why I'm here. Now why are you here, huh? Appleton's face adopted a similar coloring to her Pegasus counterparts, and she began nervously fumbling with her hooves. Well, you see, I kinda do the same thing as you, except, I've been following Spike. Now that I've told you, what are you gonna say before you turn this around on me? Scootaloo looked left and right to ensure that no one was close enough to hear her when she divulged her secret. With a sigh and a wave of her hooves, she beckoned Appleton closer. I'm gonna make Featherweight my very special sun pony. Whoa. That's confidence. Be confident in yourself. Confidence is sexy. Also, so is lifting. Lifting is also sexy.
But neither of us lift.
Speak for yourself. You don't know me. I lift. Do you even lift, bro? Take that as a no. I lift, bitch. Come at me.
Shit was so cash.
Shit is very cash. Scootaloo whispered a sheepish yet proud smile crawling across her lips. Appleton was awed, dumbstruck, but above all, inspired by her friend's emboldened declaration. That's awesome, Scootaloo. Scootaloo injected with a harsh whisper. Keep your voice down. Sorry, Appleton whispered. Anyways, that's awesome, Scootaloo. We don't mind my asking. Appleton once again clicked her hooves together, hesitantly unsure of whether or not to ask what was on her mind. Just how are you, gonna make him yours? A sly grin replaced Scootaloo's once frustrated grimace as she cupped her hooves around one of Applebloom's ear and began to shamelessly divulge her plan in all of its redundant glory.
She's gonna make him paint her like one of his French fillies.
I don't know if that's accurate because I've never read the other story, but for now let's just go sure. Scootaloo drew away and observed the wide-eyed shock painted on the farm fillie's face. Sweetbale told you to do that? Scootaloo spat on her haunches and nodded. But will that even work? Applebloom asked. Well, from the way Pipsqueak's been looking at her lately, I'd say so. References to the first one! Bloom took a moment to consider the implications of doing such a thing with Spike, and she grew so flustered that a thin trail of steam began to rise from her cheeks. You might want to get that checked out. Hey, Scootaloo said, nudging Applebloom's. Spike coming out of that store. Looks like you have to get going. Alright, Applebloom said as she watched Spike drop a load of parchments and quills into his wagon before walking off to find the second vital item on his errands list. Good luck in catching your shutterbug, Scootaloo, and thanks for the advice. Same to you, Applebloom, but just one thing before you go. What's that, Scoots? Spike? Really? Scootaloo was straining to suppress her laughter at the thought. Wow, what a bitch. We can say the same about Featherweight. Really?
Oh my god, Becky, look at her butt.
Oh my god. But I don't know. I immediately thought of the song #selfie, and I feel ashamed of saying that.
I don't, because I thought of Baby Got Back.
Baby I'm just gonna continue reading now. Bloom scowled and puffed her cheeks out indignantly before she turned away and stomped out of the bush. Maybe keeping out of sight and a safe distance from the dragon, Applebloom dove behind a nearby vendor's cart and peeked around the side to catch a glimpse of Spike. Spike, however, had spent a fair amount of distance walking along the road.
Did she just go full smarty friend?
She just went full Metal Gear Solid, actually.
No, puffing cheeks, she went full smarty friend. Nope. You never go full smarty friend.
You never go full retard. I yell that at one of my friends constantly. You just went full retard. You never go full retard. It's fucking great.
Never.
Then he pulls out a cowbell. I've been story for another time.
I gotta have more cowbell.
But it needs more cowbell. That's, again, story for another time, so let me continue. Spike, however, trekked a fair amount of distance walking along the rows upon rows of shops in search of a fruit stand, completely unaware of his amorous pastel yellow phantom, aka Stalker.
Ponies against GMO crops.
Yep. At the moment, his attention was directed elsewhere as he watched an unusually melancholy twist trot closely behind Snails, who looked about as clueless as ever. Spike wondered just what had made the normally ecstatic confectionery in such a thunk, but quickly shirked the thought as he arrived in front of Applejack's apple stand. Whether or not that's a reference to another story, I'm actually unsure. So if it is, then damn, your antagonist is really good at this. But howdy, Spike, what am I gonna do for you this morning? The ecstatic cowmare greeted. Hey, Applejack, I'll just take a bushel of assorted apples, except for the yellow ones with yellow skins, because Twilight thinks they're atrocities.
Yes, because they're Asian.
Shut the fuck up, Salem.
No.
Okay, thank you for making me seem like a racist. One bushel of assorted apples coming right up. Applejack disappeared behind her counter and researched a moment later with a fresh bag of apples in her mouth. That'll be 3 bits, Spike. Again, for a bushel of apples, that seems kind of cheap.
How much would it be per pound?
I don't know. I'm searching up how much a bushel is currently, because I forgot how much it was. And it might be different because, I don't know. Maybe it means something different. I don't know how much a bushel is.
Especially if it's from Walmart. Nobody. Nobody tells you that crap. Especially if they're from a Walmart. That's how you can tell her.
Yep.
Warning. May contain crystal meth that was made in a bathroom.
1 bushel equals 42 to 48 pounds. Which is about 126 medium apples.
How much would it cost?
I don't know.
Probably the same amount as he's right.
Wait. I'm sorry, I'm checking. 1 bushel of apples is like a lot. Let's see, 1 pound of apples equals 3 medium apples, so 1 total of apples is 48 pounds.
Well, go on with the story. We're getting sidetracked.
This is relevant to the story, damn it.
ADD is kicking in.
ADHD, thank you very much. 3 bits, just a second. Spike reached into the coin wallet and froze 3 gold coins, promptly slapping them down the counter as he retrieved the bag from Applejack's mouth. Alright, thanks AJ, I'll see you around. Hang on a second, Spike, I've got a promotional item that I'm going away with every purchase. Applejack sank behind the counter once again, but she was taking much longer than last time, causing Spike to wonder what in the item question could be.
Since when did Applejack turn into Billy Mays? But wait!
Hi everybody, Applejack here, selling you the new hot product of Equestria.
But wait, there's more!
But wait, there's more. Okay, no, that's awful. Rest in peace, Billy Mays, you magnificent bastard.
Rest in peace, R.I.P. in peace, Vince Offer.
Rip in peace. A moment later, he heard Applejack mutter, "Dang it, where'd they go?" Shortly after, Applejack reappeared, very confused and slightly irritated. "Sorry about that, Spike. I had a pan full of fresh apple fritters earlier, and now they're all missing. Wonder what happened." Aw, that actually sounds really good right now. No, well, I guess I'll just get something when I get back home. Thanks anyways, Applejack. End time, Spike. 12-5. I said, "Hello, you here?" "Will do, Applejack. See ya." Spike said as he began the short walk home. Applejack waved after the little dragon before returning her attention back to her apples when she noticed something odd. The apples seem to be moving! The apples are alive. Applejack leaned closer to inspect the produce.
Attack of the killer apples!
I would have watched that. Attack of the killer apples! And suddenly a pink bow attached to a red mane exploded forth from the stockpile. Dang it, I've got to beat him to the library, but how am I going to do that without him seeing me? Apple Bloom, what in tarnation are you doing to my apples? Sorry sis, can't explain right now. I've got to get back to the library, but I promise I'll tell you later. Apple Bloom, you ain't going anywhere until I... Another explosion of apples successfully cut Applejack off mid-sentence, and in its wake stood none other than Pinkie Pie, wearing a ninja mask, no less. Horrifying. Did somebody say library? I was just about to head back there. Applejack looked between her sister and the psychotic pink pastry fiend sitting in her apple cart. Pinkie Pie, how in horse feathers did you get in my dang cart? What is going on here? Pastry ninja never reveals her secrets. Now come with me, small one. Pinkie Pie seized Apple Bloom in a tight embrace, and the Billy couldn't help but remark, but Pinkie smelled unsurprisingly like cake frosting. "To the library! To the library!" she cried as she dragged Apple Bloom with her under the remaining apples. Applejack plunged her hoop in after the pair, but only found purchase on the bottom of the cart. The
secret ingredient is durian.
I fucking hate durians. Applejack pulled her hoop back out of the cart. It felt as though she'd seen a ghost. That just don't make no sense, and I don't care how to figure out how to do it. I'm just gonna sell some apples, go home, and lay down. That sounds like a good idea. Here you go, Apple Bloom. Pinkie chirped as she shoved the filly through a gap between some books in one of the library's bookshelves. "Oh, and good luck with Spiky." Pinkie whispered.
Don't forget, lay down and lynch a zebra.
Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Apple Bloom's face grew a shade of crimson as she asked in a dull roar, "What? How did y'all know about that?" "That's a ninja secret. I'll never tell." Pinkie Pie declared as she drew the gap in the books closed. Apple Bloom trotted over and pried the gap back open to see if she could catch a glimpse of the magenta maniac. But all she could see were the shaved wooden walls of the library. "Well," Apple Bloom began, "that was mighty strange." "Apple Bloom!" The voice belonged to Sweetie Belle, who was cantering over as quickly as she could to greet her friend. "I didn't see the door open. How did you get in?" "When I know the answer to that, I'll let you know, sweetie." It hadn't occurred to Apple Bloom before, but the library was unusually quiet and absent of any patrons. "Hey, where'd everybody else go?" "Is that really important right now? Anyway, did you tell him?" "Not yet," Apple Bloom admitted sheepishly, "but I'm about to. He's on his way here now, so that's what I'm going to tell him." "Well, it shouldn't be too hard. You pretty much got this whole place to yourself after Mrs. Sparkle leaves." The sound stopping from the stairwell garnered the attention of both fillies. "Ah, where is that dragon? I know I told him that he had 3 hours, but it should only take him in 20 minutes at best, and I'm ready to go now. I don't have time for this. I need to be checked in at the train station so I can start preparing schedule for the conference." Twilight to the last stair and fixed her attention on Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle. "You two don't have a problem staying a little bit longer, do you?" "Not at all, Miss Twilight." Sweetie Belle chirped, her voice cracking slightly. "I'm not going to make my voice crack, because I'm not going to." "Thanks, girls. I'll make it up to you when I come back from cancel that, I promise." "Oh, hey, she is getting paid." "Well, they are getting paid. Like that, Salem." Twilight said, levitating her ridiculously bloated suitcases behind herself as she galloped out of the library's entrance. "Huh," said Sweetie Belle. "I guess you've got a place to yourself in that case." Sweetie Belle trotted over to a nearby desk and procured a velvet saddlebag from the seat. Come on, Apple Bloom, let's go upstairs, Sweetie Belle chirped. Ever the skeptic, whenever it came to Sweetie Belle's schemes, Apple Bloom eyed the saddlebags suspiciously. Hold up, Sweetie Belle, what's in them bags? Sweetie Belle rolled her eyes and sighed to Apple Bloom's skepticism.
It's her collection of high-tech sex toys.
Who told you? Nah.
Just a,
it's not, I promise.
Just a lucky guess.
I swear it's not, I promise. Mostly. The unicorn filly... Wait. Sweetie rolled her eyes and sighed to Apple Bloom's skepticism. It's a surprise. Now come on, Spike could come back at any minute. Unicorn Philly bolted up the staircase to the library's upper level, and a moment later, Apple Bloom reluctantly followed suit. Once upstairs, Apple Bloom noticed Sweetie Belle standing in the center of the room with the saddlebag at her feet and a mischievous grin on her lips. Against her better judgment, Apple Bloom bit the buck and decided to ask Anna, "Are you going to tell me what's in the saddlebag, Sweetie Belle? The suspense is killing me." "Don't worry, you're about to find out in a few minutes, so will Spike." Sweetie Belle flipped the top of the bag, and her deviant grin only grew more emboldened as she began to trot closer. The situation was starting to look more and more like a bad idea gone terrible, but with Spike on the way, she didn't have much choice. Who could only swallow nervously and trust her friend's judgment. As Spike walked into the library, the first thing he noticed was how absolutely devoid of any signs of life the place was, which was surprising given the time of day.
It's quiet. Too quiet.
Spike called any potential library, the patrons. His only response was silence. Oh, I guess Twilight already left, closed up while she was at it. Well, since I've got the whole day to myself, I think I'll grab a nap. That sounds like something I would do, because I'm a lazy fucker. With a yawn and a stretch of his back, Spike made his way to the staircase where the sound of hoof falls, rustling, and unintelligible bickering could be heard clear as day. Hello? Spike called up the staircase, and almost instantly, the noise from upstairs ceased, save for some panic whispering. Hey, what's there? Once again, there was no response, only the creaking of floorboards followed by hushed whimpering. Fed up with the lack of answers he was receiving, Spike stomped his way up the stairs, but just as he reached the middle, Sweetie Belle cantered down, giggling and grinning from ear to ear. Needless to say, Spike suspected something was amiss. "Hey, Spike." "I'm probably going to regret this, but what were you doing upstairs in me and Twilight's room?" "Oh, well, you see, I was helping Apple Bloom with a surprise for you." "A surprise?" Spike asked, cocking an amused eyebrow. "Yep, and now that we're finished, I'm just going to leave you two alone in this empty old library. Alone. Together." Spike opened his mouth to question Sweetie Belle's odd behavior, but just as quickly as he started to speak, Sweetie Belle raced down the rest of the stairs faster than Applejack during the running of the leaves. His curiosity piqued, Spike resumed his climb up the stairs and immediately began scanning the room as soon as he stepped inside. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Nothing save for an odd quivering lump of blankets on Twilight's bed. The lump. To his surprise, Lump gasped, stopped quivering, and began to grow smaller and smaller on the mattress. "There's no pony here! Now get out!" "So then why is no pony trying to kick me out of my own room?"
"Because the floor is lava."
That would be a pretty good reason. Spike chuckled, casually strolling over to the bed. Apple Bloom chose to remain silent and unmoving under the blanket, but curled into an even tighter ball when she felt Spike's weight on the bed draw closer. "Hey, are you alright?" There was no response. Spike reached toward the blanket and gave it a fierce tug, but the current occupant yanked it back down twice as hard. The back and forth continued without feasible end in sight until Apple Bloom bucked Spike onto his back, forcing the dragon to release the blanket. "Ow, Apple Bloom, why'd you kick me?" Spike asked, rubbing his sore stomach. "I'm mighty sorry about that, Spike, but I'm just a mite hesitant about this." "Hesitant about what?" He heard a sigh from inside the hall ball of blankets and watched intently as the covers fell off, unveiling the surprise that Sweetie Belle had been going on about. Before him stood a completely different Apple Bloom than he was accustomed to. The filly's normally unkempt mane had been curled and parted to one side and adorned with an immaculate golden bow that her own sister would have described as one of the most frou-frou things she'd ever seen, while on her back sat a frilly pink saddle that easily complemented her horseshoes and choker necklace. Well, what do you think? A moment of awkward silence passed between the two before a harsh cackle erupted from Spike. Ridiculous!
Every awkward silence a gay fool is born.
Again, I don't see the problem. The dragon laughed so hard that he fell onto his back, kicking his feet in the air with reckless speed.
And she is not ridiculous, she is fierce.
Well, it's not my fault. Sweetie Belle told me to put this get-up on because it would help me confess you it. Applebloom clasped her hooves to her mouth as she realized all too late what she had just let slip. Perfect plan! It worked! Spike's laughter ceased and his heart skipped a beat as he attempted to register what he just heard. Applebloom, what'd you say? Spike stood up and looked her into her eyes, albeit she quickly contact as soon as it had been established. You wanted to confess something to me? Applebloom fidgeted her, who was manically, well, she continued to avoid all eye contact with Spike. You see, The farm fellow began stumbling over her words, unable to make a coherent sentence in her frazzled state. However, her next course of action was a surprise even herself. Applebloom decided that if she couldn't tell him how she felt, she'd just have to go. She turned away from a wall and heaved out a lungful of anxiety, turning her gaze to meet Spike, who was quick to notice a sudden shift in her demeanor. In fact, the air of confidence that surrounded the filly brought out a plethora of little things he'd never noticed about her before. The radiance of her golden brown eyes, how lush and rich her fur was, the way the bow complemented everything about her perfectly, and her hot active figure, which was accented by the toned, lean muscle she gained from working in the fields. Oh dear God, that was a lot speaking. But above all, the things that stood out about Applebloom at this moment was the luscious curvature of her wanting, waiting lips as they drew dangerously closer to his own. And her golden eyes no longer plagued by skittishness, but rather some baser, domineering instinct that captivated and entranced the Diagon's focus, showing some unknown appetite deep within the pleasure centers of his mind.
My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yeah.
I have a feeling I'm going to get sued for copyright, but fuck it.
We probably won't.
Yeah. Spike driven by...
We're not popular enough.
Bible thump. My feels. Well, that and we're the ones like fucking singing the song, so we can just say that.
Yeah. We were covering it.
Yep. Fuck it off my place. As their lips met, a surge of excitement flowed between the two, inspiring further investigation of the new phenomenon they'd stumbled upon. Applebloom savored every second of the encounter, her lips pressing forth ravenously into his as though to see his warmth and lay claim to a long-awaited prize. Spike, driven by raw desire and curiosity, indulged himself in Applebloom's sweet taste, unaware that his draconic impulses had begun to subconsciously direct his actions as his tongue slithered forth to meet hers, and began crossing and exploring this newfound companion with avaricious fervour, which, to her surprise, evoked a moan from Applebloom, who was swimming with elation at how well her gamble had paid off. But a moment later, Spike broke away from Applebloom's kiss, uncertain of how to interpret this turn of events. He opened his mouth to speak, but quickly found himself once again silenced as Applebloom wrapped her forelegs around his neck and drew him back into euphoria, attacking his lips twice as aggressively, and to his satisfaction, Spike didn't resist, even as she leaned her weight into him, forcing him on his back while she continued her amorous assault. Applebloom ran her hooves along the scales on Spike's head, sending small shivers up and down the dragon's spine, as she began to trail her lips down Spike's neck, delectating on the curious flavor and texture of his scales while her main tickled and eased his chest. What the fuck are you doing?
Nothing.
Yeah. By the way, guys, things are about to get sexual. So if you don't like that, then, I can honestly say that I don't care.
As Noodles would say, gonna bum ya.
With each kiss Applebloom delivered to his chest, Spike could feel himself. Wait, what? Did I skip something?
Maybe.
Yeah, I did. Woohoo, I'm dumb.
No.
While she continued her amorous assault, Applebloom ran her hooves along the scales on Spike's head, setting small shivers up and down the dragon's spine, and she began to trail her lips down Spike's neck. Wait. I feel like I already read this, but at the same time I feel like I didn't.
You have the feeling of nostalgia.
This all makes too much sense! Delectating on the curious flavor and texture of his scales while her mane tickled and teased his chest. With each kiss Applebloom delivers to his chest, Spike could feel himself growing more and more excited. As did a certain part of his anatomy that began to swell and make its presence known to its owner, who began to squirm and grunt under his insatiable burning needs, insistent on manifesting itself.
My boner.
Embarrassed, Spike pushed Applebloom away and crossed his legs and attempted to hide her shade.
Down.
Needless to say, his behavior did not go unnoticed by Apple. Why did you say it? Actually, why didn't you? The police got up and gave the now blushing Spike a once-over, her eyes falling on an all but unnoticeable pointed pulsing pink protrusion peeking past the lower portion of his white underbelly. The fucking alliterations in this are fantastic.
Are they as good as Regidar's?
I don't know, Regidar has had some pretty good ones, but not on this kind of scale. Hey, Spike, what's that? Appleton reached forward with a hoof and began poking the development curiously. Oh, Jesus, that's awful. I love it. Flustered, Spike slapped Appleton's a hoof away and curled up into a ball. How should I know? I've never seen it before. Appleton eyed the dragon's poorly hidden erection when something crossed her mind. You know, I think that's the thing Sweetie Belle's going on about. Hey, that gives me an idea. Spike didn't like where this is going, and with Sweetie Belle's name in the equation, that was doubly so. Oh, but this will end up in sexual pleasure for the both of you. Appleton grinned at Spike and placed a hoof on the dragon's thigh, sending a flutter of panicked excitement through his belly. Appleton leaned forward and delivered an experimental lick to the length of the dragon's burden, causing it to throb and anxiously eliciting a tense groan from the timid recipient. Appleton smirked at the little growl and gave Spike's shaft another slower, more focused list, teasing his tip with her lips. For a little effort, she got a much stronger reaction than last time, and Spike groaned even louder, gripping the sheets on the bed tightly. Appleton began to circumnavigate her tongue around Spike's shaft, which sent violent shivers up his spine, causing his toes to curl from the stimulation. No longer content with simply teasing her quarry, Appleton wrapped her luscious lips around Spike's dragon hood and initiated her descent, allowing her tongue to glide about and explore, while the moist heat of her mouth enraptured and overloaded Spike's senses, slipping him over the edge, but Appleton's wasn't done yet. We're in the final stretch, people. Holy fuck, really?
And now she's going to become a cutie mark cum dumpster.
God, why do you remind me of these stories? It reminds me of a story I once wrote my own time that I will not get into, because god damn it. In the interest of gaining better leverage before continuing, Appleton shifted her position and swung her legs over Spike's chest so that she was straddling him in reverse. The consequence of this position was that she was now presenting her fully hood to Spike, who was still infatuated with the constant pleasure flowing from her mouth to his loins. Appleton seized Spike's calves with her forelegs and used them as leverage to intensify the speed and force of bobbing, further mesmerizing her draconic lover. Spike, however, had grown accustomed to the constant source of pleasure flowing through him long enough to regain his wits. He looked upon Appleton's exposed folds, which had grown wedged from arousal, and now emitted a strong, sweet scent that intoxicated its curious observer below.
Why not just say roast beef?
No, that's not funny enough. Spike extended his fingers towards Appleton's essence and upon a bright pink slit amongst her yellow. For his ears, he was rewarded with an immediate reaction from Appleton, who shuddered and squealed, which inspired him to explore her further. As Spike's tongue entered her and began rubbing along her walls, you could feel Appleton clench down, overloading his sense of taste with her sweet essence. Spike, what in tarnation do you think you're doing back there? Appleton asked as a surge of elation washed through her, soon followed by another after another. Appleton closed her eyes and allowed each movement of Spike's tongue to relax and titillate her nerve endings, drawing out enamored moans with each convulsion. Spike took this opportunity to seize Appleton's firmly toned haunches with his claws, using the extra leverage to move his tongue even deeper inside. Yeah, this escalated quickly. Appleton responded to Spike's efforts by re-immersing the dragon's throbbing member into her mouth, though she was going to receive
say
the first time.
That again.
Wait, what?
You can say that again.
Like
what?
The entire story over again? Because I'm not going to do that.
That escalated quickly.
Well, that escalated quickly. The kettle went from quivering under a blanket and laughing at people to blowjobs in 69. Not to say I'm complaining, I mean, damn. Makes for a good story. Am I wrong?
If only it were a standing 69.
Oh god, don't mention those. Another story. Appleton responded to Spike's efforts by re-immersing the dragon's throbbing member into her mouth, though she was disappointed to receive less of a response than the first time, as Spike was too preoccupied treating himself to Appleton's love nectars. His body was still responding to the stimulus, as she could note from the constant fanning and curling of his toes. Enraptured in the overwhelming stimulus from each other's antics, it was only a matter of time before Spike sensed an inevitable heated swelling from his nether regions. It began to spread through him, causing his mouth to water slightly as it grew in intensity. On Appleton's end of the spectrum, she could feel something big coming. While once common pleasures that flowed through her began to grow more and more intense as she clamped down tighter and tighter around Spike's tongue. The build-up surrounding the two lasted only a moment later before it came to an abrupt end. Spike intensified his grip upon Appleblom's haunches and clenched his eyes as a sharp explosion of heat and pressure erupted from him and filled the inside of Appleblom's mouth. Simultaneously, Ab felt a jolt of electricity over his upper spine that inspired a massive release of tension from deep within her that peaked for all of an instant before it slowly ebbed away, rendering her limp from the wave of bliss that had passed through her. After what seemed like a pleasant eternity of basking in the bliss afforded to the losers by the joint orgasms, Appleblom rose slowly to her hooves and spat the brackish on the sheets. An act that didn't go unseen by Spike, who grimaced as he looked at the Austin and begged, "Dang, I could really go for another one of whatever that was. Appleblom purred. I really hope that doesn't stand, or otherwise Twilight is going to kill me. Or question you and then throw you out of the house." Appleblom chuckled at Spike's remark and began swaying her tail in a pendulum-like motion, presenting herself to Spike and introducing him. Stop doing that.
Sorry. As well, the blowjob part, I'm reminded of that green text that ended, "I miss Miss Johnson."
I'm not gonna ask. We can clean that letter. Let's keep going for now. Keep going. It really gets better than that. Let's see. Appleblom purred, lifting her tail upwards to reveal Spike, beckoning him closer by batting her eyebrows suggestively. Suggestive eyebrow blasting. Blasphemy. Spike followed her instructions nigh autonomously as he stood up and strolled closer to Appleblom, the fire of his once extinguished arousal rekindling itself at the sight of Appleblom's exposed fullyhood. "Come on and put it in," she instructed, wiggling her flank in front of him. "I don't know, Appleblom. I'm kinda nervous about this. But I want it now!" Oh my god. I'm very tempted to go find a soundboard just to play that clip, but I'm not going to.
No. It's my money, and I need it now!
That works too. Appleblom whined, turning her head to course Spike with her pleading brown eyes. Spike swallowed back his timidity and gripped his dragon hood firmly, easing it towards Appleblom folds, which began to part like curtains in the wake of Spike's hardened member. Appleblom gasped as she felt his length slowly invade her, spreading through her nerve endings like a wildfire of elation.
All 2 inches of it.
Appleblom's rapture only lasted a moment longer as Spike's arrival was met with resistance. In his focused state, Spike gripped Appleblom's flank and flanks tightly and pulled Ophelia closer as she drew herself further and further into her depths, unaware that what had once been satisfied moaning had transgressed into a pained whimper as Appleblom's purity was taken from her. Hooray, hymens and virginity. The pain lasted only a moment and was rapidly replaced by a much more pleasant sensation, making it seem as though there had never been any pain at all. Spike on the other hoof grunted as he slid deeper into his partner's tight, moist heat. Once Spike reached the limit of his advance, he began to draw his hips back, clenching his jaw as his shaft grinded along Appleblom's convulsing velvet walls, drawing for another smitten moan from the filly. Once he had extracted himself from her completely, Spike thrusted his hips forward once again and pulled Appleblom's towards himself, slowly but surely digging his claws into her haunches as the pressure began to impede his rationality, allowing his draconic instincts to take over. With another thrust sending exquisite shivers up her spine, Appleblom's forelegs buckled beneath the pressure, and she buried her face in nearby pillows, stifled her increasingly loud moaning as Spike pumped away inside of her, forging a small method to his lust-induced madness. In his state of heightened arousal, Spike began to massage her voluptuous flanks, that ass and upwards, immersing himself in the lush texture of her soft fur, his hand trailing the length from back up to her neck, where he began to run his claws through her cherry-red mane, allowing it to flow through his fingers with the aesthetic beauty of ruby dust through a sieve. "Do it harder." Appleblom's muffled voice pierced through Spike's pleasure-crazed mindset, and the dragon stopped for a moment. "What?" Appleblom turned her head to the side so her voice wouldn't be impeded by the pillow, and Spike noticed that her cheeks were as red as her mane. "I said I want you to do it harder. Please?" Spike nodded and pulled himself away from Appleblom, rearing his hips back as he prepared to thrust. Appleblom turned her face back on the pillow, clenched her eyes, and braced herself from the incoming shockwave of pleasure that resonated through her being, and yelped as it was quickly accompanied by another that came twice as hard and twice as fast. His mind focused solely on regaling the howls of the filly below him. Spike held nothing back. It was only a matter of time before he felt Appleblom convulse and tighten up beneath him, her head whipping back in ecstasy as she began to rock her hips against Spike, who timed his assaults with her own. Something that familiar buildup of an itching heat from earlier, Appleblom turned her head to look directly into Spike's emerald green eyes. She wanted to see his face twisted in the euphoric frenzy of body had cast him upon him as she came. I don't know why, but that line just sounds epic to me.
Now let me see your war face.
You got a war-faced prophet! She wanted to study the wild look in his face as he gave in to his natural tendencies and gradually became hers as she is. And as your antagonist once said, it's morphin' time all the time, Drill Sergeant. That's a story for another time, because that was a great story. There was a look of satisfaction and ownership in the filly's hypnotic golden eyes that sent Spike over the edge, inspiring him to reach out and seize Applebloom delicately by the chin, planting his lips upon her own for one last kiss before he rushed for the home stretch. Spike broke the kiss, seized Applebloom's tail, and pounded away selflessly, serenading himself to each pain, cry, and yelp she admitted. All the while, he could feel that familiar burning, pushing, and swelling through his loins. Applebloom, I'm gonna... Me too! Now take it as you will, because it has hearts around it, and I don't know how to fucking do hearts, and I'm not in the mood for moaning, because it has fucking another room. What do you want, people?
Why would... New rule, no emoticons.
No. I like them. Me too. Applebloom paused to gasp, sensing she had only another few more strokes from Spike. The climax would strip her wits from her. She chose to glare her feelings for her feelings. I love you, Spike.
With it.
It started at the base of her spine like a wave of erratic living energy, rolling through every fiber of her being, finally exploding in her mind, flooding her vision with a plethora of colors. As Applebloom's sex clamped down tighter and tighter, Spike's stamina had finally hit its limit. Fierce liquid fire erupted from the dragon's member and began to fill Applebloom like a torrent of hated ferocity. As Spike's elation died down, so did the energy that had been running rampant through him only a moment ago, and due to his odd newfound exhaustion, Spike collapsed onto his back and shortly after was joined by an exhausted, panting Applebloom, who quickly nuzzled into his chest after planting a kiss on his cheek. There were 1,000 things that the pair of us need to discuss, but at the moment, Applebloom's peaceful sleeping form wrapped around his spent frame was more than enough to convince Spike that it could wait until later. Thus, the dragon allowed himself to join in his equine counterpart in the blissful realm of dreams, but just before his mind shifted into unconsciousness, he heard Applebloom mumble something from her placid state. I finally got my very special sun dragon. Spike grinned weakly as his eyelids grew heavy. You sure did, Applebloom. You sure did. Je ne sais quoi, m'assiste la vie. Au revoir, mon ami, la fine.
I'm surprised they didn't, have an after-sex smoke.
That's too long for that.
And they'd probably turn it to chavs.
Alright, that's the end of the story. What'd you think of it?
First off, I'm surprised Twilight hasn't given him the talk yet.
That is a good point. That's
and
a very good point.
I'm also surprised he never found her secret stash of porno.
Yeah. Anyways, anything else you want to say?
No, not that I can think of.
Alright, you want to help me with the outro?
Subscribe to our channels.
But mainly mine.
Click my ads.
Don't do it. He doesn't deserve it.
It's 'cause I'm poor.
I'm poor as well and I don't beg. Anyways, again, if you like the story, go check out Your Antagonist. He's fucking amazing, and you should all go read him and follow him and all this other crap. I would read a lot more of his stories, but a lot of them are really fucking long.
And go subscribe to Sean for more of this.
Because this will probably be on my channel anyway, so if you want more of this stuff, tell me in the comments and subscribe, because, fuck, if you guys tell me to do it, then I kinda have to. I feel obliged. Also, go check out Salem. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Alright, everybody. Until next time, au revoir, mon ami.